Well, our next guest is a prominent Bank of America shareholder who has been waging a campaign to oust Ken Lewis. He's Jonathan Finger and his father, Jerry. Together, they own 1.1 million shares of B of A, and earlier this year ran a TV and internet campaign against Lewis. And now that he is stepping down, what is next? And Jonathan, thanks so much for joining us once again.
You're welcome. Thanks.
I imagine you are quite pleased or satisfied with this development. Were you surprised, though, it has happened so soon?
Not really. You know, they've been telegraphing this for quite a while. You know, the goal, I think, was to get the company through this rough patch. But I think Ken Lewis became less effective when all these investigations were announced.
And are you disappointed, though, that the decision came from Lewis himself and not because of pressure from the board?
No, I don't think that's really important. I think what's important, you know, is this is an important first step in changing the corporate culture of the company. And hopefully there'll be a greater focus on shareholder value.
Jonathan, how long can Bank of America wait until you're uncomfortable with a lack of a successor announced?
You know, I think the board will act expeditiously. I think they'll name someone within 90 days. You know, I think there are a lot of good candidates out there, and I would expect that they will move quickly.
Jonathan, I believe the last time we talked, you said that you like, for instance, Sallie Krawcheck. You think she would make a great CEO for Bank of America. Do you still believe that?
You know, I think she's certainly got a very strong background. I'd like the board to conduct a complete search and look outside the company as well. And I think it's important before they look internally at some of the other internal candidates. I think they owe a responsibility to shareholders to find out what really happened prior to the shareholder vote.
Hey, John, Adam, question for you. If, in fact, Sallie Krawcheck were named CEO, she obviously comes out of a securities tradition. Does that set a tone for the bank that you're comfortable with, or would you rather see Bank of America go back to its more retail roots?
Well, you know, it's always going to be a big retail bank. They've got a large retail brokerage operation. You know, I think I'd like to see, you know, someone who's got strong banking and strong investment banking background. Her background is primarily on the money management side of the business, which is an increasingly important side of their business.
Now, John, as I know it, there's, I think, 5 separate government agencies that are investigating Bank of America right now. So, given this, you know, lack of successor at the moment, or nobody, we don't know who's gonna take over Lewis's place. I mean, how does the bank get these investigations behind it and move on?
You know, I think the board could be more proactive than they have been. The board could set up an office of special counsel, such as Deutsche Bank did this past summer, to investigate what really happened and find out, you know, the facts behind the situation. They can contact those agencies, try and settle. You know, they can also release Tim Mayopoulos, who's the former general counsel of B of A, to testify to New York Attorney General Cuomo, so he can tell them what did happen prior to the shareholder vote. So the board, I think the board should move to put all this behind the company and let the company go forward.
John, you're well aware of the economic conditions right now. We get a big jobs number tomorrow. As far as actually running the business, what would you like to see Bank of America do in the next 6 months as it tries to sail through the economic storm?
Look, they've got to focus on their credit issues. This company, the recession has exposed this management team as not being great managers in the basic business of lending money and getting paid back. They need to focus on their credit issues in their consumer business, in their construction loan portfolio. You know, they need to figure out where their risk is and take action to mitigate that risk.
Well, without a clear CEO right now, though, how do you expect them to do that?
Well, you know, Ken Lewis wasn't managing the business day to day. They've got capable managers on the ground. Granted that, you know, there's not going to be a CEO taking, you know, giving direction on where to focus attention, you know, but I think the board can certainly convey to managers where they need to focus their attention.
Okay, and John, you know, very quickly in terms of what you want senior management to do at this moment, you know, outside of the board picking the new CEO, tell me exactly the next step that you want to see from Bank of America. Now that Ken Lewis is not there, there's going to be a lot of answers or questions unanswered here.
And from an operational standpoint, like I said, the issue they're facing right now is credit quality and credit issues. They need to get their arms around that and go forward.
John, we highlighted the Bank of America is nowhere near where it was a couple of years ago in terms of stock performance. You're well aware of that, although all of these bank stocks have rallied off the lows. What is your view on bank stocks over the next 12 months?
You know, I think they've certainly got probably another 1 to 2 quarters where they're going to be making pretty heavy loan loss provisions, and I wouldn't expect Bank of America to make much money the next 2 quarters. Once you start to get some visibility that the recession is tailing off, then I think you could get another move in bank stocks probably 6 months from now. But I think they're pretty fairly valued here.
Okay, Jonathan Finger, thank you so much for joining us once again on Bank of America. John Finger of Finger Interests, a pretty key Bank of America shareholder.